Hey everyone, good evening. It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Southwick Agricultural Commission. The meeting is being recorded. We have commissioners in the room here are myself, Bert Hansen, Marisa Coco-Bogan, Zach Barnett, Tammy Sayak-Bissell. On Zoom, we have Dennis Clark. That's it, right? In terms of commissioners, and several guests and welcome guests. So we have one of our guests is Wayne Magny back there, and a project before the board. So we'll try to get him move that up the agenda so that Wayne doesn't have to stay, unless if you're totally welcome to stay if you want to. Let's see, where is my agenda? Okay, so for communications, I guess we're supposed to. And for purposes of recording, we also have Commissioner Lenita Bogan. Hello, Lenita. Oh, one important order of business. How's Cody?
He's great. He's in the truck. Yeah, so you can meet him after.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So we got a letter from the Massachusetts Farm Bureau Federation. Seems to be saying that we can join the Federation for free. Municipal ag coms can join for free, and that gives us access to some counsel and resources on farming issues, state laws, regulations, etc. So I don't know. They want to know if we join. They want to have a list of all the commissioners and our emails. So I guess we should vote on this. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah. They send out a newsletter that has lots of stuff that we might want to pass along on Facebook and stuff. So
yeah. Okay. So it's just Bert Hansen. I'll make a motion that we accept the Farm Bureau Federation invitation to join.
Second.
Just hear that, Gene? It was Lenita who seconded. Okay. All in favor? Bert Hansen, aye. Zach Barnett, aye. Marisa,
Aye.
Lenita,
Aye.
Tammy,
Aye.
and Dennis.
Aye.
Okay. A couple other communications, not so much received by this commission, but just kind of public service announcements. There is a work session tomorrow night with the planning board to consider a bylaw about major development, about a moratorium on major development in town. Diane's a sponsor of this.
This one's not a moratorium. This one is just the whole bylaw. I'm sorry, could I have your name? Diane,
Oh.
5 Point Broker.
Okay. Oh, the agenda says major moratorium bylaw.
It's not a moratorium.
Okay. Anyway.
Big difference.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a work session on that tomorrow night. If anybody's interested, 7 o'clock on Zoom. The agenda is on the planning board website. Here, I'm sure you're going to all want to know about this. It is an agricultural issue. According to the Boston Globe, we should prepare ourselves for the spud apocalypse. A Canadian industry group named the PEI Potato Board recently launched an aggressive social media campaign warning of shortages of French fries and hash browns in Massachusetts. Apparently, the U.S. has halted shipments of potatoes from Canadian islands 600 miles north. So, and this group says the FDA is blocking our potatoes.
Specifically to Massachusetts
Well,
and specifically French fries.
that's what I said. I don't know.
Buy local then, right?
Yeah.
Can't get through the border
Good thing
anyway.
I grow my own.
Exactly, yeah, or grow your own,
I'll get
so,
me after all.
exactly.
Grows well there.
Yeah, it's a good thing to join the garden.
Exactly, yeah.
Grow potatoes.
Okay, let's get our minutes of last meeting, January 12th.
This is December 8th.
Hmm?
The agenda said December 8th.
Oh, what? That's not good.
Did I print the wrong agenda?
You have to
Oh,
smile.
yeah, it says January
Yeah.
12th.
Oh, that's good, Oscar.
Last month.
Okay. What?
Oh, yeah, it does look a little different than the
Yeah,
one we
so-
got sent earlier.
Always have a backup, right? Like you do.
I have the right one.
I
No.
got
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
oh, that's just the agenda.
Oh, you have it, okay.
I must have made the wrong.
I don't have
the wrong agenda.
Oh, the-
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I got this one.
Anyway, so January 12th minutes. You guys have it in email, and I don't know if anybody had a chance to take a look at them. Or you want to take a minute now?
I think you had made some corrections already over email for some last names, right?
Yeah, just a couple of typos
Yeah.
on page 3,
Yeah,
which I'll say now for the recording. But
yeah. I mean, everything else looked okay to me when I went through it online, so.
Dennis Clark here. I just wanted to make it clear. I sent an email out earlier about Wayne was not requesting that the Agricultural Commission find that it's agriculturally exempt, because that's up to the Conservation Commission. He's requesting a letter from the AgCom confirming that it is agriculture. It's not somebody trying to build a house or trying to sneak something through. We're just going to confirm that it is an agricultural use, and that we would recommend the commission find it agriculturally exempt. If you could just, make that clear, because it kind of sounds like you're giving the Agricultural Commission the authority to do that. That's the Conservation Commission decision.
yeah, so it says letter of endorsement to conservation.
Ron and Dana.
Stating that the bridge would be exempt.
Right.
So
Can you see them?
I just see his face picture.
For the recording,
Dan.
just want to say that Commissioner Dan Cook has now joined. Hello, Dan.
Is Ron there?
I can't.
there's no
Well,
picture.
the email is from Julie.
Yeah, I think that's Ron's shoulder. Yeah, okay. And also Ron Cicchini, at least his shoulder. Okay, thanks for that comment, Dennis. The other changes are just on page 3, just some typos. It says, instead of social media, it says SICIAL media. Dennis Clark's name came out as CALRK. And then public comments were made by Diane Gale, not Diane Gala. So, can someone make a motion to approve the minutes as, I guess, as presented, since Jean already made those corrections?
I'll make the motion.
Tammy second.
Tammy seconds. Okay. All in favor? Bert Hansen, aye. Marissa?
Aye.
Zach? Aye. Lenita?
Aye.
Tammy?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
On?
They're muted.
You're muted.
Now that we're in person, at least partially in person, the members in attendance will actually sign the minutes,
Okay.
okay? Anita.
No, there I am.
Oh, did we ever hear from Dan and Ron?
Dan, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if you can hear
I don't know if
us.
they can hear us.
Ron's waiting. They can hear us.
Just give us a thumbs up if you,
Oh, there's the thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Okay. Any, I guess I should say any opposed.
No, I don't see any thumbs down, so.
If you want to see the corrections, I did make them on my version.
So,
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. So, okay, so why don't we move to 326 North Loomis? Looks like Wayne Magny is here. Lisa and I visited the site this morning with Wayne. And what they want to do is actually replace a bridge there. One bridge walked away, not as a sort of a temporary bridge. And they want to replace it with a 35-foot steel bridge, concrete abutments, riprap under the abutments to prevent erosion. And they expect to probably do the work in June or July, right, Wayne?
July, the dryer.
Yeah, probably July. It looked fine. I mean, it's a replacement.
Right.
I don't know, Dennis, do we need to somehow certify that it's an exemption or?
It's, you would send a letter to the Conservation Commission saying that you've reviewed it, and the Agricultural Commission does feel it falls under agriculturally exempt, would recommend Conservation Commission to find that. And we're going to ask Wayne to file a request for determination with the commission. There's a specific place on the request for determination for exempt. So they would file an RDA and the commission could find it exempt on that. Just as to cover your ass, that they actually don't have to file anything because if they believe it's already exempt. But as we call it, cover your ass, because you have a document that says that it was found that way in case the neighbor decides to complain.
Yeah, okay. And just to be clear, the Conservation Commission would make that determination, right? We make a recommendation, but then Conservation actually says, okay, yeah, you're exempt.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece of property. I didn't realize Wayne was explaining this. There's a lot of trails, hiking trails back there, and people. It's pretty piece of property. Wayne, can you just describe some of the uses?
Do you want to come up here,
Yeah,
Wayne,
well,
actually, so that we can sit here with us,
Yeah,
please?
so the owl can hear you.
Yeah. We should have invited.
41 Foster. Yeah, it's approximately, I believe, 30 acres of forest land. Some of it was prior used for farmland, corn, and other crops were grown there. I'm not sure what the other fields were. At some point, John Lloyd may decide to reclaim the upper field, the higher ground for hay, purposes of hay. The lower field, he has no intentions of using because that's in a floodplain, and it's pretty much going to stay a floodplain. And other than that, it's just forest use. There's so many wet areas, natural springs on the property, and there's like 4 or 5 different brooks. it's not really like good building, but places to build or nothing. Other than that field up above for a hay field or something. And all his intentions was just to have access to his land. There's property that he does not own on the left. There's property he don't own on the right. And you got the brook here and brook on the top. So you need to cross it, be able to access the land at some point. And if we're gonna, every 10 years he's required, because it's chapter 61 land, he needs to do some type of forestry improvement on the land. Instead of going through this process of putting a temporary bridge every 10 years, why not put one for that used to be there? Not just fix it up, put the right bridge in, higher, stronger, better bridge.
Sounds good.
And just a point of information. So John's going to have let the state come in and do some like an orchard of chestnut trees.
That might be on Curtis Road, maybe not here.
Oh, okay.
There may be some invasive work to be done on this property. Is definitely needed. There's several different species of invasive, including barberry and bittersweet, and the grapes are running rampant out here. They need to be cut. They need to be thinned out.
I think that property abuts mine. And the invasive is really heavy in invasive species. And I had my property, I got a grant to do work on it by the USDA. And they told me you'd need a backhoe in there for a year to get rid of it all.
It's that bad. It is bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. Anything you can do to get rid of it's great.
Can you help Wayne out?
I got a grant from the USDA to do it, and they last 2 years. It was $15,000.
Wow.
Can you help Wayne out to try and apply for the similar type of grant that you got?
Sure, I can tell them who to go to.
Did you get that through NRCS?
Huh?
Yeah.
That's through NRCS?
NRCS.
NRCS?
No,
in Hadley?
USDA.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're interested, I can show you what they've done.
Yeah, always looking to do stuff like that.
Yeah, there was grants available.
Open now. There's some grants that open February 1st.
For invasives?
And it's through the USDA. I can't pull up my Facebook here, but
Okay.
the ones that you found and I shared. I can't remember if it's specifically for that, but it just opened February 1st.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, your forester has to, you have a forester?
Yes.
Well, he has to do the work.
Jeff Jordan, he did all chapter 61 work up there so far. He's been on record for years with it.
Yeah.
We just completed the first 10-year cycle. There was a little bit of invasive work done to go with thinning of some inferior trees in there, and some of the healthier trees. But the purpose was pretty much to get rid of the hemlock understory. They're pretty getting pretty attacked by the adelgid over there. A lot of the hemlocks were dying. So we're moving towards the pine, and saving the hardwood. And there were some poor forest practices in the past. When you get a more diverse, healthier forest back. So the park that the forester did mark did include some invasive work that we did that work, but there's some sections in there that are not cost effective to hire out. It would be the homeowner expense or a grant that would need to be done to get the work done. It's so expensive, like you said, you're right next door. There's definitely a negative cost factor there.
So Wayne, have Jeff get in touch with the agricultural commissioner, have him shoot me an email, and we'll work with him on that, because we've worked with Jeff before and he's very knowledgeable. He's one of the better foresters in the area. So put him in touch and we'll help you guys, and Ron will help us, fill out the paperwork and try to get you some grant money to get rid of those invasives. You forgot to mention multiflora. I know there's a lot of that there too.
Yeah. Doesn't me.
So you're looking for a vote?
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah, and I just wanted to also just comment that we want to. This sounds great, and I appreciate your coming, Wayne, and the project sounds great. Just want to be sure that we sort of cross our T's and dot our I's, because, as we were saying this morning, just half a mile down the road at 370 North Loomis, a family wanted to put a bridge over the stream and the wetlands, and there were a lot of concerns about that project. They withdrew the permit application, as it turns out.
Yeah.
No one knows why. But anyway, so I'll make a motion that we recommend to the Conservation Commission that the project would be exempt from wetlands. I'm not sure about the language you use here, Dennis.
Yeah, that's the right language. Wetlands Protection Act under agricultural exemption.
Yeah. Well, that's a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Bert Hansen, aye. Marissa?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Lenita?
Aye.
Tammy?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Ron?
I,
And Dan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. That was really interesting. Thank you.
So, on to old business. There was a master plan advisory committee meeting last week that I was not able to attend, but I'll see you later.
Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, you're good.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Thank you.
See you.
See you, Wayne.
Thanks. Bye.
The bridge.
So anyway, the master plan advisory committee meeting last week, I could not attend, but Marissa did. So can you give us a few highlights?
Last week, right?
Was it
Yeah.
last week? Yeah.
Yes, it was last week. The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and the Southwick Master Plan Committee have been discussing a contract and just trying to refine that more because the intention is to have that organization help Southwick through the master plan process. So last week we just reviewed that contract and intend to kind of keep moving forward with it. And that breaks down into different sections. It breaks down into housing. It breaks down into, I'm trying to think of other sections off the top of my head right now, but all the various things that we're going to end up discussing on the master plan in terms of open space planning as well. I'm trying to think of the other things. I should have brought my notes with me, but all the various things that we're supposed to cover. Diane, anyone else who was there? Is there anything that stood out in that contract? Yeah, open space was the big one. Yeah, just the, right, the going rates, the hourly rate, and then I think there were still a few points that they wanted to refine, but we effectively voted to keep the process going so that we don't lose any time, and we'll be at a stage where the contract can be signed, because once that happens we can really kind of start moving with the master plan. Another thing that happened at this meeting was that there was a presentation from Corey Rowland, who's acting as a consultant to the master plan committee, and she pitched this idea of having 2 high school students who are already on the master plan and who are participating as part of their school curriculum, having them kind of lead a trend development part of the master plan process. So in effect, helping us identify trends, do some survey work in terms of IDing what's going to come, what trends are going to stay, what not. She gave a really good example of this working from home trend. That was something that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, but then a pandemic happened and things really shifted and changed. So the idea is to kind of stay ahead of the curve and plan 50 years ahead. So the high schoolers will be working on that along with Dory Boyd. I'm trying to think what else. I think the last big thing was the survey, yes, evaluating other surveys that have been done in other communities that have gone through the master plan process. The Blandford master plan survey was passed around, and there was another couple of towns as well, but the Blandford one was one that we looked at a little bit more at the meeting because it was printed, and that was about 32 questions, and it kind of covered everything. It covered everything from how important is open space to you, to how important is it that your downtown look pretty, how important is industrial development to you, questions that would be put out to all the residents in town, because the idea is that a master plan is supposed to involve everybody, not just the people on the committee. We just facilitate it, but ultimately it has to kind of be the will of what people want to see going forward. So right now we're trying to look at other master plan surveys that have been done and trying to whittle it down, because 30 questions, 50 questions, it's a lot. You mail that out to people, you ask them to go online. People are going to say, exactly, this is too much. This is a waste of my time. Why is this important to me? 50 years, who cares? But I think that's also part of the outreach the master plan committee has to do to tell people the importance of it, that a master plan committee does this, it's going to impact you in this way. It's so easy to get caught up in your day-to-day and not think about what's going to happen 10, 20, 50 years down the road. And even if you don't care because you think, well, whatever, I might be dead in 50 years, presumably if you have children or some sort of stake in the town's future, you'd still want to answer to kind of shape that. So we're kind of in the process of trying to find relevant questions, being people on the ground who are from Southwick residents that are actually going to resonate with people and get them to actually answer honestly. Otherwise, this is all for naught, So we're at that stage. And I'm trying to think of what else, but hopefully the survey as well, we can kind of shape it from the agricultural and conservation standpoints. I'm on there as a resident at large, but all the surveys that we looked at didn't really have a lot of questions about agriculture or open space. So it's one thing to think about in terms of the Agricultural Commission when it comes to the time of developing the survey, of the commission and conservation having say in those areas, because we do have to tailor it to Southwick. This isn't Simsbury, it's not Enfield, it's not Blandford, it's Southwick, it's unique. So how do we tailor make it and make it relevant, interesting to people?
Yeah, good. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. What we find out.
Yeah.
And in terms of the contract, it's the select board that actually signs that, right?
I believe, yeah, by the end of it, yeah, in terms of kind of signing it so that it gets approved for payment as well. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the parts of Sage Ferry, I do want to Granville Road.
Do you want to come up here and speak for Sage? I have a hard time hearing you with this thing as well. So yeah, no, there's no mic, there's nothing.
That's why I made the comment I did at the master plan meeting, because when it came to the like you said, people don't want to see a whole bunch of questions in a questionnaire. The thing is, people will relate better when they're off guard, when they're having fun, when they're relaxing. If they're actually at like an event or something, when you present a survey to them, they might be more inclined to actually take the time to look at even more questions because their kids are having fun, or, you know, sitting back, or they're talking to a friend, and just look at question 2, and then they'll talk and another question. You know, you'll have their attention for a while, and also because everyone's relaxed, they're not thinking it's work. They're thinking that's, oh, I'm doing good for the town. Fun, you know.
Right.
But if they're at their home, obviously, like me, 12-hour shifts I work, I see a survey, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm tired, I can't do that right now, and I'll forget it ever existed.
Yeah.
This is what probably happened in the last place. People are tired, they're gonna see this and think it's more work.
Yeah.
Put it aside, and they're not gonna do anything because I'll forget. So that's why I said maybe we should try and make an event like the 250 celebration we had, because that was a big success. Everyone came.
Yeah.
We have something like that. We sponsor with master plan, so people actually get to know the master plan committee as well. You know, humanize it a little bit more, get rid of the politics. They're having fun, and then to make do a bigger survey.
Yeah.
Because one thing about surveys, especially with how we have all this stuff going on, there's a lot of topics to cover. We actually, it's a small town, but you know what? We have a lot to offer, a lot going on. I think it should be broken up a little bit and make it so that we have the main focus questions, be a small thing like 10, 15 questions. And then you branch off a second one of the more important things of our different committees, like 2 or 3 questions from each committee you think that should be focused on. And then the second pamphlet and just say, hey, we really need these answered, but if you have time or if you feel like it, we also have some committee concerns that we might want to address that might further our town. You know, and people off guard and everything, they might do it.
Right. Yeah. No, you're totally right. I think that's, and as you're talking, I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know when exactly this is going to be administered. And I hope that it's an extensive enough time that people can get familiar with what a master plan is, know that there's a survey out there, know that they should take it. If it's a 2-week turnaround, forget it. If it's a little bit longer and we give people time to do it at their pace too, it's important. And I'm thinking maybe it can coincide with certain town event days. Like if we do an open farm day, put a survey out at every farm as well. I mean, you know, presumably that will hopefully get picked up.
Paper? Can they do it online?
Well, we were thinking both online and paper, because there's some people
You
that
could do a Facebook poll, something like that too.
yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways to kind of do it, you know.
It's not like it's a legal document, it's just a questionnaire.
No, exactly. I think you need to have it in as many formats as possible, because some people will do it on paper, some will do it online.
Shoot, you could have a craft fair event and just have every person with a green stack right there, and every time you pass, hey, please fill us out.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different ways to do outreach. So
And have some kind of a raffle and give free tickets to the raffle if somebody fills out the survey.
yeah, I mean, you do what you have to do to, and it could be community building too. I mean, it's like you're saying, it doesn't just have to be this cut and dry homework, you know, like here, do your survey. It's due tomorrow at 9 a.m., you know, like make it fun. Why not? It's a great idea, Sage.
That's good. Yes, very good. Okay. Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Just keeping in mind the open space plan and our charge to preserve working farms and forests. I apologize for the umpteenth month in a row. I don't have the right to farm language yet for you, Marissa. You talked about you working, but I'll get that to you.
No, don't worry. I thought I did see a copy of it once circulating around a long time ago. Does it exist?
Yes, I think so.
It does exist.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it was brought to a meeting at one point. So if we can find that, even that, if it's a hard copy, I can work off of that, and I'll retype it if I have to and adjust it. So
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
of course.
And then the farm brochure is just about done, I believe.
Yes. So I added all the edits from last time that everybody had made, all the corrections. The only thing that is pending is the map of the trails. I've been having some trouble on the website. I actually communicated with Chris Pratt about the QR code, but the QR code leads to the open space page, which is good. And I think that's where it should lead. It's just that the open space page doesn't have all of the trails. So I have to figure out how I can get more trails on there. And I see that the Metacomet Trail does already have an existing map. It's just on an independent website. So I'm going to speak with somebody in the web department here and see if there's a way to add that link to the open space page. Because if it's already, you know, there, you don't have to remake a map or anything or research it, you know, just put a link.
You can find the link you want. I can always make it a QR code.
True. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, the idea is to at least have it all in one centralized place. But I was going to ask the commission, and maybe I should ask conservation as well at the next meeting. What other properties are there in Southwick that are publicly hikeable? I know that North Pond has a map being made right now. The Metacomet Trail, okay, we have that one. We can ask the American, Dennis, who manages the Metacomet is I know their acronym, but what does it stand for?
The Appalachian Mountain Club.
Appalachian, not American Mountain Club, Appalachian Mountain Club. So they have a good map of that, but I'll just find a way to link that. But then there's Sofinowski, which does have trails, and there is a map for that somewhere. I just don't know where the original.
Yeah, Dennis, you have the Sofinowski Trail Map, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a PDF of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that's one. I know the Granville Gorge at one point there. I have seen a map for the Granville Gorge. I just don't know. I haven't found it yet. I think it must. I may have seen it online.
There's
But,
a Facebook group for the gorge,
oh, really?
right down there.
There's a trail off of Rising Corner.
I think that's the Metacomet, right?
Oh, is that the Metacomet? Okay.
Yeah, I
part
think
of
that's the Metacomet. Yeah,
It's a New England Scenic Trail.
New England Scenic Trails. Get their name
Yeah,
for it.
there's I think there's a map right on the wall in the room that you're
Right.
sitting in.
Right. Dennis,
But
does
there's also-
Lipinski?
Yeah, Lipinski, they discourage, there are some trails that are discouraged by the Fish and Wildlife for people to use that as trails. You're welcome to go out there, but we can't maintain those as trails. It's for hunting purposes.
All right, forget it. I'm not putting it on there then.
Goose Pond area, there are some trails down in the Goose Pond area. We've always talked about putting a boardwalk down in the swamp area, right off of the rail trail. There's some hiking trails right off the rail trail. It'd be nice to put some kind of bike rack or something so people could leave their bikes and go down and check out the swamps. There's some beautiful vegetation, wildlife in that area.
All right, well, I will try to find a map for that or something to add to this open space page.
And Dennis, last month, did you say you thought there was something on the town website other than the open space?
Yeah, well, it wasn't me, but maybe it's Park and Rec. I think somebody said there was a link to some trails. Maybe it's through Park and Rec. It should be.
Only trails I found on the town website were the rail trail, which is fine. You know, that's obviously going to go on there. But already paved. It's hard for someone to get lost on that, you know, like, you know, it's great. So
The bears know where to go now.
yeah. So, all right. Well, hopefully I can get that done before the next meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Marissa.
The APR process flow chart we've been talking about a lot, and we had a meeting with folks from MDAR last fall, and then they provided, after the meeting, they provided some links to additional information. And Steve Benoit, who is on, I see, actually looked at those links and read the stuff, and MDIR has this, I guess I'll call it a booklet that has, it's all about APRs, but it has a flow chart and timeline and sort of a checklist of what you do when. So I think we should just build off of this, you know, maybe add a little bit of detail. But anyway, so thank you, Lucy, for pointing that out. Do we should we have maybe a little subgroup working on that? I don't know.
Hey, Bert, it would be nice to have a link to that from the AgCom webpage.
Oh, no, that's a
Link
good
right
idea.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, we'll keep kind of chugging along on this. I kind of feel like there's a lot more to it than they say in this, couple of pages in terms of the process. But
Probably just not shelve it.
so what's that?
Probably just not shelve it.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
get the message across, but
It's a good place to start, though. It's a good place to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
Guessing it falls under old business. I did reach out to the Mass Association of AgComs,
Okay.
just explaining that we're interested in becoming more involved with advocacy and looking into, how to help sponsor a bill or contact other AgComs to sponsor bills together
Mhm.
on the 60A land acreage requirement. And I'm just going to read the response I heard back. Southwick with a question mark and exclamation point. This was from Steve. I don't know his last name. I love hearing from other Pioneer Valley people. Before 2019, he would have been the one in charge. But now there's somebody named Laura. Again, I don't know the last name to answer that he sent this to. Are going to have reach out to me with more up-to-date information.
Okay.
So that we can start getting connected to other AgComs and kind of working together.
Yeah.
And then I also,
Excellent. What was with the question mark and the exclamation point? You didn't know where Southwick was, or didn't know
or
we
I
had an
don't know if it's
AgCom,
just
or-
because I didn't know or didn't know we were active again. Or, and then
never heard of us.
I also just in continuation of the climate change program I've been working on.
Mhm.
I emailed Jeff Cole, who was the one who ran the program I intended for Mass Food Systems. And I wasn't impressed with his answers, so then I emailed Melissa. Sorry, I just got off of it. And she gave me two contacts to reach out to. One, his name's Andy Pressman. He's the National Center for Appropriate Technology Northeast Regional Director. And also possibly Ed Stockman, who's a retired blueberry producer, who provides assistance to farms related to climate change and regenerative practices. Because I'm guessing don't know what this way is going with COVID, it would probably be something either a virtual program, like I'm thinking like a Q&A session, so people could just kind of ask questions on, well, if there's a lot of rain coming, how do I protect my crops, trees, flowers, whichever, or if there's another drought coming this summer, what can be done in those areas? Kind of where I'm at with that.
Total tangent, but I heard reports that in China for the Beijing Olympics, they've been trying to seed the clouds to make it rain in some areas or at certain times, and not on the Olympics. I don't know if that's working out or not, but
Thanks, Tim.
yeah, that's great. Can you either email or text us that info just so?
Yeah. Oh, and then I shared on I can't pull up our Facebook page for some reason, but I did share. There's if anybody can pull up our AgCom Facebook page, I shared there's a farm talk happening. So I can't remember who sponsored it, but and it's on. I'm sorry.
Farm talk, did you say?
Yeah, it's on Zoom. If you check out our AgCom Facebook page, I did share information on it. You can find out more. Thank you. It's the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm sorry, this is it. It's the massfoodsystem.org state farmland plan listening sessions. It's focused on advocacy happening in our state, like what's going to be important bills, issues, and I thought that could kind of tie into what we're hoping to do with other commissions in our area. And it is Tuesday, February 15th from 3 to 5. And also Wednesday, the 16th from 5:30 to 7:30, and they are on Zoom. And I put the link up there on our Facebook page. So if anyone's interested in that, check out our Facebook page or email the commission and we can get you more information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Found that randomly and I was excited.
No, but there's that connection there, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, for new business, some of us attended an open meeting law workshop. I believe it was January 26th. Here that I wanted to share with you.
And thank you, Zach, for sharing what they did because I completely forgot and you got caught up.
Here we go. So there's a lot of not pressure, but we need to pay attention to the open meeting law. All the boards and commissions do. I think Marissa, you attended, right?
Yes.
And I believe Dennis attended. Zach, did you go?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I have the certificates we can sign. I'll just give us a couple of brief notes here. That it's all about deliberations, whether you're deliberating or not. You can share information, but if you're making a decision, it's got to be open to the public. I was surprised by this. Subcommittees are subject to the same open meeting laws as commissions. 501c3 nonprofits generally are not public bodies and so are not subject to it. It's okay to send agenda topics back and forth, but not opinions about the topics on the agenda.
Just gotta be careful, not to voice our opinions.
Yeah.
In emails.
Talking without voting is still deliberating. The open meeting law does not restrict communication with the public through social media. But the intent is important. If you post on something on social media to try to influence the commission, that's not good. But you can try to influence the public. So I shouldn't post something on our Facebook page to try to get you guys to, vote a certain way. And we can't communicate with each other over social media. And things like a group applications like Google Docs, and this would apply to Microsoft Teams, I think too, should include information but not discussion. Yeah.
Did you pick up if they need to be available to the public?
Say it again.
If we have like a Microsoft Teams thing, does the public need to be able to access?
I believe the end result of whatever information is being collated does need to, because I asked for the purposes of the master plan committee and they answered my question in the chat and they said, as long as that's you can individually send out like an invite to fill in information, but then that information that is collected does need to be shared. Yes, exactly.
Okay. They just talked a bit about the executive actions and laws that enable remote meetings. They're going to expire April 1st. They are working, the legislature is working on extending it to July 15th. And they may make it permanent, which would be handy. Our meeting notices should be understandable by the general public, not a lot of acronyms, jargon, stuff like that. If we were to have an emergency meeting for some reason, it still needs to be posted, even if it's less than the 48-hour time period. Let's see. There are no specific requirements about canceling meetings.
Bless you.
The open meeting law does not require public participation, only viewing and hearing. So we don't have to let people talk. We have to let them hear what's going on. And then just last, there actually, this was another surprise to me. There was actually no requirement for a quorum to be physically present if there's a hybrid meeting. I thought there was. So no, I'm not. I don't want to be sitting here by myself next time. But we don't have to have a physical quorum.
But between physical and virtual, there has to
be a quorum. Right. And I have, I had a big thought that I was going to provide copies of the open meeting law guide, which is online. It's 48 pages. So here's a handout where you can access that. If you would like
Open government news.
Okay, let's see.
They did clarify, Bert, that you can't have subcommittees without having them be subject to open meeting law, but you can have loose advisory groups within a commission, board, or committee that would not be subject to open meeting laws. So if you wanted to somehow break down, but it was considered informal and only advisory, that would be acceptable. So if this commission ever in the future wants to have a working group within, that's a possibility.
That seems tricky to me.
It does, but
how that works.
I think for the master plan committee, for instance, that's going to have to happen. It's 17 people. It's very hard to work together. It's like at some point you have to break it down.
Yeah.
So
or you'll never get anything done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about 3326 North Loomis. Dennis, can you talk a little bit about the RDA for 302 Granville Road?
Yeah, sure. There's no RDA for 302 Granville Road at this time. The owner of the Crepes Tea House, Art, is planning in the future to maybe do some vineyards on that address. Right now, there's just a forest cutting plan in front of that's been approved by the state. And after they do the forest cutting plan, he's going to come in with a proposal to do a vineyard. And I don't even know if he needs an RDA for that. We're not sure if there's even any wetlands on the property. That's yet to be determined. I'm not. I think that got prematurely on the agenda, because when that comes up, I think even if it's not an RDA, I think it'd be good if Art came in and talked to the Agricultural Commission to what his plans were, so we could help him if we could in any way with it.
Yeah, and for the good of the order, an RDA is a request for determination of applicability to find out if Wetlands Protection Act applies to a site. So, but nothing for us to do at this time, it seems like, right, Dennis?
Right. Well, that'll come up in the future.
Yeah. Okay. 72 Mort Vining Road. We and Conservation got a notice from Robin Solek, and this is Art Pinnell, 72 Mort Vining Road. Apparently wants to take his land out of 61A. Conservation couldn't really act on it because we don't really have much information, and we're kind of in the same boat. We don't really know they're gonna do. And Dennis, we need an appraisal or something, right?
A valid purchase and sale agreement needs to come in front of the town with a dollar amount, specific dollar amount. Otherwise, how do you know if you're interested? You know, they're going for 20,000, 200,000. You know, that's part of the process. If you look at the Chapter 61A process, that's part of it. It's required to come in front of the town, and the select board must have that information because it's required to come to them. And we're asking, somebody's supposed to be asking Robin to share that with us. Gene, did you get a chance to ask Robin to share that information with us yet?
I'm supposed to, sorry. I'll send her an email.
Okay, so when we get that information, we put it back on the agenda and
Okay.
take a closer look at it.
Sounds good.
It is a nice piece of farm property though.
Yeah.
And it abuts a piece of property that we wanted to preserve that is now going to become a subdivision. And I have been told that he's going to sell it to the person that's putting the subdivision, and it will be part of the subdivision if he sells it. Would lose the farmland, you know, and it's probably going to happen, but it's worth taking a look at it just to see if there's any possible way we could get a land trust involved, or, you know, got to find out how much it's going for first of all. And it'd be a place to start.
You all probably know this is the project at the very south end of Mort Mining Road, near Dinah Flynn's, across the street
Across
from
the
Diana
street,
Flynn,
yeah.
which is unfortunate. And also, Dennis is going to call on you again and Marissa about the Prifty APR application.
So they received their offer, and at this stage they're speaking with MDAR about it and just trying to get more information. So that's basically where things are at right now. So just trying to get more information and some questions answered, some clarification. So
A hypothetical sketch of a new lot potentially, and maybe Dennis, you could help us with this, how making an estate lot part of that property would increase.
Well, we're looking at
value.
different scenarios. Just it looks like they hadn't gone through the Conservation Commission or the town planner before they actually did this. I think, Marissa, you probably want to keep this quiet until we actually meet with John Goddard, and we don't want to put the Prifties in any kind of awkward position. So
exactly,
I think it's to be continued.
Exactly, yeah. Just
Okay. Let's see. Well, while we're on APRs and that type of thing, how about for the Davises on? I saw a note just the other day. A letter from MDAR with the contract and offer.
Yeah, we're reviewing that appraisal as we speak. And,
Did you get it? Dennis, did you get it?
I picked up the appraisal today and took a quick look at it. And had a couple of questions, and I'll talk to Lois, see what she thinks, and we'll. The appraisers don't like to be questioned. You know, that's their job. They don't like to be questioned. And last time we were able to successfully get an appraisal changed, but it wasn't easy. They did the same thing. I went and drew an estate lot in and some other, and the appraiser said, well, you could do that, but we don't know if all the lots would perk. So we actually, and it costs quite a bit of money to have somebody go out and actually perk the lots. And this was on the Fox Farm on Davis Road. The owners didn't think there was enough money involved in it. So we went back and we got a couple extra lots on the map. They agreed if we could perk all the lots, that they would actually add those lots to the appraisal. We were fortunate to find a couple of people with a backhoe, John Wally and Tom Fitzgerald, who's a sanitarian, to go out there to dig 16 holes and 8 shelves to be able to prove that those lots did perk. So it can happen, but it, you know, sometimes it takes a little more doing.
Sounds like APRs take a lot of doing no matter what. Oh, thank you.
Andrew? Andrew? Somebody named Andrew?
Oh, Andrew, you have your hand raised?
He's muted.
He's muted. No, it's mom. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
It's Jean.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It wasn't there before.
Jean's causing trouble.
It's very far reaching.
Last thing, this was sort of a communication, but I wanted to leave it till last. A letter came in to Jean, actually. And I would love to be able to find it. About farmland preservation program. What the heck is this? That's the handout, yeah. There's a fellow named Al Averill. See now. It's a program to ensure that all applicable lands may be considered for farmland preservation funding. And I guess there is some farmland is designated by the state as being valuable, but you can there's a designating farmland of local importance. That there's a process involved, of course. It involves looking at the soil types. And just making an assessment of if this is farmland that's locally important, aside from what the state may designate. So this fellow, I'd like to invite Al Averill to the March meeting to talk about this. And this might be a good thing to do with maybe invite some other ag coms. You know, and Dawes and me probably should have done that when we had that meeting with the MDAR people last fall. You know? But anyway, yet another handout. This is a fact sheet on how this program works.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So we don't have to spend a lot of time on it now, but I'd like to invite him to the March meeting. He said when you look at the fact sheet and the designation process, he said, don't get nervous. I do most of the work. So that's good. So we're through the agenda. Anybody else have any comments, input, questions? Marisa?
One last thing. I was corresponding with Tina Smith of MDAR to discuss the possibility of coordinating a workshop on Zoom about taxation regarding 61A and APR, and kind of having it be a Q&A and educational session so that people in town who are in 61A or APR or interested in either of those options can get some information in terms of how taxation and rates work. So Tina thought it was a good idea. It's just something that I've had questions on and that other people have asked as well. So I think there needs to be some just clarification, a little bit of education on it. And Tina of MDAR said that would be good, but it would be good to involve the town assessor, Sue Gore. So she reached out to Sue Gore to see if there was any possibility of interest, and there is. So the Agricultural Commission, if everyone is okay with that, could help co-sponsor this workshop. And, Tina had suggested doing it maybe during an AgCom meeting. I think it needs to be a separate meeting. We have really full agendas and, make it at a different time maybe so that it's easy for people to attend as well.
And we could call it a special meeting.
Yeah, a
Just
special
have
meeting,
that
yeah.
One agenda item.
Yeah, and have that just be kind of a workshop of sorts. So hopefully, if I don't know if we have to vote on that as a commission to, I don't know if the open meeting law stuff, if that's something we need to, don't want to commit a faux pas.
I think
So,
I don't know. Do we need a vote?
I mean, it's a co-sponsor. Yeah, I'll make a motion to co-sponsor a workshop with his office and MDAR on taxation.
Okay, I'll second that. And it is a good idea to have a vote just as a kind of a endorsement. So we'll do a roll call. Bert Hanson, aye. Marisa?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Lenita?
Aye.
Tammy?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye, aye.
Aye. Now you can only vote once. Ron
Aye.
and Dan.
Aye.
Hey, thank you. That's awesome, Marissa. That's another thing we can invite other AgComs to as well.
Great idea. Great idea.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to adjourn. Again, on this one, going once, going twice, over Sage.
Where do you do that? I always wanted to do try and help our public Facebook page and stuff. Just wondering, I have no access. Just wondering how that's going to work.
Yeah, were we going to ask somebody about that last time?
Yeah, I think we have to talk to Jim Middleton about that. I'll do that, Sage. Also, I've been meaning to mention that with that Microsoft Teams you've been talking about for some time, we'll put that on the agenda next month so we can actually focus on it and decide, how to go forward.
Because I also I'm arranging a into this month to talk to select board. Doug, there you go.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why his name was I was to talk to him about it. I'm going to give him a little bit of a presentation that I have worked out because I actually have a full presentation down now. But there's a couple of things I need to work out. Like Zoom actually has an ability to cross with Microsoft Teams. And I just got it is and how it works before I go full circle with it. So I'm just going to ask him a couple of things and show him and see what he thinks. And I can also do the same for one of the meetings here, just to get more reflective on it because it's almost done. I mean, literally you might be able to and see if they say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Yeah. Okay. And thanks for persevering with that.
Yeah.
That's
great.
I want to help the town.
Okay. Anybody on Zoom have any questions or comments or anything? Doesn't look like it.
Nope, not
Okay.
shaking, no.
So it is now 8:10. So I'll make a motion, Bert Hanson, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second,
Don't all say it at once.
second.
I guess we have to do the roll call, right? So, okay, Bert Hanson, aye. Marissa,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Lenita,
Aye.
Tammy, Dennis,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
and last but not least, Dan.
All right.
Okay.